I decided to take a moment to jump in and address something that has been in the forefront of my mind over the last few weeks. Most of you know that I have absolutely been working with teens for the last 7 years, and it's one of my passions. I light up when I'm working with teens. It just brings so much meaning to my life, and it's something that I do quite well. When the lockdowns happened in March, I decided, and as we started to recognize that our traveling wasn't going to happen and I wasn't going to be co facilitating with my son the retreats that we do through Project World School, I really felt this deep loss that I wouldn't have that kind of connection that is so meaningful to me. And I could talk a little bit about why working with teens provides meaning to me. But the reason why I popped in here is I wanted to address something that's come up for me in conversation over the last 2 weeks very strongly. I'm launching a new course for teens, and it starts in, I guess, about a week and a half. So, in the meantime, I've been speaking with teens and parents separately, and I've been trying to gauge kind of where the disconnect is and where the needs are. And primarily, I speak with the parents to make sure that there's going to be a match and that the expectations are met. But what I've discovered over the last 2 weeks that once we get below kind of the concerns that they have about their teens, at the base of it is they're really searching for that connection that they once had, when their child was younger. I'm a mom. I know we raise kids, and through the different stages of life, our relationship changes in different ways. And I know that's part of it. But 99% of the moms that I've been chatting with have this sort of deep sorrow about that connection changing. And even though intellectually, most of the parents know that the connection is really there, it just is taking another form. And I get it. And then speaking with the teens, the underlying sort of desire behind, frustration and anxiety and all of the things that are alive for them right now tends to be expressing their autonomy. And so when you've got one person in the family that wants greater connection and another person that wants greater agency or autonomy, we have two intentions or two desires that are not matching. For me, that was a tremendous insight. Now, the reason why I work with teens is that I had the hugest struggle in adolescence. And to frame it as the hugest struggle is an understatement, to say the least. I have gone through, I'm in my 50s and I've gone through so much healing, learning about what it means to challenge your beliefs and to workshop things that are no longer working and to actually change and modify the habitual patterns of thinking that are part of my wiring from early childhood. And the early childhood wiring, which related to a not a healthy attachment style, propelled me into my adolescence in such a way that it was very self-destructive, and I had a lot of behaviors that were not very positive. And I understand and I recognize that what I was looking for was connection. And I was looking for connection throughout my entire life, as a matter of fact. And the majority of my behaviors that when I'm in reaction mode come from that place where I'm really seeking that kind of connection. But what was detrimental to me in my adolescence was I never felt seen, I never felt heard, and I never felt understood. And for any teen who has any degree of those feelings, those things can be amplified in adolescence. And my journey, my mission is to connect with teens so they never have that feeling. Now, connecting is not enough. And I'm going to get back to what parents can do and what this means to you. But the connection part is not enough. And for me, what became the most beneficial in my journey was discovering, creating, and utilizing a set of tools that allowed me to use my conscious brain thinking, my intellectual thinking, rational mind, and to be able to rewire the other 80% of unconscious, subconscious thinking, which is the majority of what our brain activity is. And once I learned the bridge between those things and the tools that I used, I became self empowered, right? And when I've been working with teens on the retreats, I sneak in these tools. We create dialogue around these processing so we are not in reaction mode. Reaction is the habitual thinking based on our wiring and our um, belief system that has been with us since we've been a young child. And if we don't take time to examine that kind of habitual thinking, we are constantly in reaction mode and constantly running the same programs. For me, being seen, being heard, being understood, and having tools to be able to examine those kinds of thoughts that came up help me transform the relationships in my life. But I don't ever want a teen to go through the same turmoil and experiences, self inflicted many times, that I have. You know, parents need to take accountability and responsibility too for not being in reactive mode. But their desire, sometimes the desire to want connection, makes them pull even closer. And the reaction mode from a normal adolescent is pushing farther away. Parents can run on habitual thinking and personalize it, and then there becomes a lot of conflict. Teens can shut down, alienate, shut out their parents. And if neither of these two parties have tools to recognize what reaction mode looks like, and instead of being in reaction mode, consciously decide to be in response mode, then they can meet, they can have that connection. So, creating dialogue around all of those things and practicing it in a safe space with the teens, away from the parents, gives them the skill set, the tools to go back into the family and recognize and acknowledge and actually choose to participate when the connections happen. That's the first step of what we're working on for the first month of the Transformative Mentoring for Teens program. If anybody has any questions for me at all about the type of work that I'm doing with teens, and maybe you're interested in some of the tools that we use, you can ask me now. I'm happy to answer right now. If you have a teen, or if this sounds like the dynamics that are alive for you and your family right now, by all means, go to my website, Transformative Mentoring for Teens, and click on the consultation, and we can talk about this. And I can share with you some of the things that we're going through in the course that's starting. It's halfway full right now, so I have less than 10 spots left. If you have a teen who is interested, please do register. It's a fantastic group of teens that are joining for this course. I've got teens from around the world, so it's quite international, and it'll be fantastic to watch um, their process and to be a witness to that and to facilitate that. So I'm so excited and so honored to be in this position to be able to serve you and your teens right now.